gon' put in work, clocking overtime, always on our grind, in a state of mind. We gon' put in work.
What's going on, everybody? It's your man DJ Swamp Thing, president of Always Working Radio. This is What's Your Hustle, a podcast where I get the opportunity to introduce to you some great people, both in the artistic world and in the business professional world. And this time, I really got to treat this for you. If you guys have been following me, then you know that I've recently been on this great individual's podcast as well, not too long ago. Now I get to return a favor. So I'm excited about that. Without further ado, Dr. Raya White. Hey.
Thank you for having me.
Man, thank you for being here. How are you doing? Man, how are you?
I'm great.
Awesome. So listen, man, I'm really excited about this one. And I know that whoever gets a chance to watch this, I just feel it in my bones that they're going to take away something great. So without further ado, let everybody know what's your hustle.
Well, I am Dr. Raya White, born and raised here in Columbus, Ohio for the last 50 years. Have two children, Shay and Kiara, who's 28 and 32, and two grandsons. So my business is Raya's Raise the Light Foundation. This foundation is based on helping our community heal. And what we do is we provide resources, services, and education to our community. We also have free events for our community all over Columbus, Ohio. And we are now going to be expanding across the United States. So I'm excited about that. But
That's
it's
awesome.
based on mental health. We have a podcast called Ray of Hope. The talk show and podcast. We're also featured on the radio. You can also catch us on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, and now Amazon Music. So
Well, go ahead.
out there. Get the word out there.
Go ahead and put it out there then. I see you. So I want to start here, and I'm glad we're having this interview at this time because mental awareness, mental health has been such a big attention getter. You know, everybody is really focused on that right now. But let me start off by asking, what inspired the foundation? What inspired your nonprofit? What I assume is a nonprofit. Excuse me.
Yeah, it is a nonprofit. But my nonprofit is inspired by my actual mental health journey.
Okay.
So I always knew that I wanted to be a doctor since 5. I used to write my name as Dr. White, but I never knew how I would get to this process. So I am a suicide attempt survivor. I've been a mental health patient, but when I went to counseling, there were no providers that looked like me. We didn't have resources for the Black and Brown community. So it was important for me to create a safe space, a platform, and a foundation for people that look like me to get the help that they need for their healing journey. So I want to get in there and help as many people as I can to be educated about what is mental health versus what is a mental health issue. Because mental health is homeostasis. That means it's balanced. That means that you know your triggers, you know your coping mechanisms, you know how to deal when life happens. When you have a mental health imbalance or issue, that means that there's an interruption that you're not able to access properly or you're not able to deal with properly. And then that's where a mental health foundation comes in, where we can provide you with resources. We can connect you to the right people and make referrals to people that look like you, that can help you, that can understand.
Wow. Do you believe, is it a case where just as you talk about the definition between the two, right?
Yes.
How important is self-awareness to be able to understand the difference? Because, you know, maybe folks might have, you know, the latter, but are not aware of what the definition is. So maybe they think they're fine, right?
Right.
They don't need to go. So, I mean, how important is it? Just obviously the education is important, right? I'm not questioning,
Yes.
but just the self-awareness within oneself to know, okay, I need help versus, you know, I don't need help.
Yeah. So it's good to take accountability. One of our key mottos is that you cannot heal what you hide. And what that means is that if you are questioning whether you're able to deal with these internal issues, just ask and seek help, because an individual provider may be able to help you distinguish between what is something that's normal versus something that's abnormal. So let's talk about normal. Normal is I lost my job, I'm upset. Okay. That's typical.
Right.
I'm going through a divorce. I'm upset because I'm going through a divorce.
Yeah.
Now, when you have these symptoms that start to last longer than 6 months, going to a year, you can't eat, you can't sleep, it's interrupting your daily life, then you may have a mental health issue. And that's when you need to seek further counseling, therapy. You can start with your primary care provider, and then they can refer you to someone that specializes in mental health. So,
yeah. Wow.
yes.
That's awesome. The overall state of where we are as a country right now, social media,
Yes.
those things, how is it real? Because you hear it all the time, but do those things, how what's the question I'm trying to ask? Like, just how much of a part do they play into someone's mental health? And what are some of the ways that they can, maybe avoid being exposed to those things as much in order to keep themselves mentally healthy?
Well, social media is playing a big role in the number of people with mental health issues. Social media has actually caused that number to increase, especially in our teens. So we're seeing that teens are comparing themselves to the things that they're seeing on social media versus regular TV, because social media is quick access. Social media is a lot of people that only show the good and not the bad or the ugly. The social media is filled with filters. It's filled with so many images that we didn't have access to.
Yeah.
Those of us that grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, we didn't have access to all of this overload, what we like to call the overload of information that's typically not true.
Yeah, right.
So it's easy, back in our day, we would have models and magazines, and they would do touch-ups. Touch-ups have now become filters, or it's become green screen.
Yeah.
So you can be anywhere in the world and put it on social media, and the people say, oh, they're in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in Dubai. Like, it's a pseudo place, which means it's a fake content place. So it is affecting our teens. It's affecting the adults. People are losing friendships behind social media. I mean, it's just access to things that we didn't have access to before. I usually speak to young girls and I ask them, how long are you on social media? And it's really hard to hear young girls say, I spend all day on social media. Why are children all day on social media? Why aren't parents limiting access to what our kids are seeing, what our kids are viewing? Because that comparison can kill your self-image. That comparison or lack of resources, this person has a nice car. This person is flashing money. This guy has on nice shoes. They have all the girls. It's killing the self-image of our youth. And it's we have more Black girls that are now suicidal after social media. So I tell parents, limit social media use to 2 hours if they're in middle school and elementary. High school, they can do about 4 or 5 hours, but that should be limited also.
Right. Yeah. I know. Even with adults, I have conversations with the colleagues and different folks of mine where a lot of times they start to question where they are in life.
Yes.
Right. They start to question their own choices growing up because they see people who are, our same age or around the same age who, like you said, you see the cars, you see the money, you see the, wearing the suits, 5, 6 days a week, and life is great, and the travel and the infamous, plane video, landing or whatever. And I hear it, and I have to be honest with you, Doc, I even myself, sometimes have to, after watching for so long, I find myself sitting back and like, where did I go wrong? You know what I mean? And then I come back to reality, like, wait a minute, I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm fine, blah, that's
absolutely.
But that's not the case for everyone. Sometimes it is really, it really can be detrimental.
Yes.
And I have kids, and we try to limit to them, but I know even for adults, again, like I said, I think it could be possibly in some cases worse because you've had a significant amount of time on earth. You've been through some things, some
Yes.
experiences, you've made some decisions, and as you're in a certain place and your 40s or 50s or whatever, and you're looking at on social media and these same people the same age have
Yeah.
a different type of lifestyle, and it's like,
Mhm.
well, wait a minute. So like you said, I think that's great advice, and you hear it all the time, about limiting social media, and just getting out and being with people directly. I still think
Yes.
it's definitely the way to go, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like we still need, maybe even more than ever, we still need that ability to be close in person, to be able to talk
Yes.
to one another, to look at one another, to smile at one another, to have
Yeah.
experiences with one another right then live. You just went to a concert, right? I mean, that had to
Yes.
feel, social media can't beat that, in my opinion.
No, it can't. You're absolutely correct. People need connection. People need to be in a room with other people because,
Right,
when you're looking at everyone's lifestyle through a lens,
right,
that lens can get blurry.
right, right.
Like I said,
Yeah,
everybody can fake it till they make it on social media, but we
yeah,
do need human connections. We need to get out. We need to socialize. I come from a generation of family reunions,
yes.
and now it's like FaceTime me or, I'll see you on
Mm,
social media. Like, no, I need to see you face to face.
yeah, yeah.
That camaraderie. But they say, social media comparison, it kills joy. And I truly believe that.
Can we ever get back to that? Do you think do you think we're at an end to that kind of, back to the family reunions, to the, are we, is that, it doesn't look good getting back to that, huh? You think?
It doesn't, but we have to change the narrative. It only takes one person to say, hey, let's meet up, let's have dinner.
Yeah,
I'm the person in my family that I like to keep my family connected.
yeah,
So I call my brothers and my sister, my mom, I send out invitations and we all meet up for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
yeah,
And we do this on a regular basis. We try to keep the human connection in it. I don't want to see my family on social media. Life is short.
right.
It's getting away from us. So, we want to try to keep that. So it just takes one person. It just takes
Yeah.
one person. Change the narrative.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to get back to Raya's Ray of Light, and just kind of have you go in a little bit more detail about that, because that is, we definitely need organizations like those, where people know that individuals like yourselves and those that are part of the program are there and willing to help, have the experience, and been able to come on the other side of that and share that experience. I think a lot of times, sometimes the way people really don't go towards some of those organizations because they don't believe those people will really understand where they're coming from, or don't understand
Right.
the type of experience they've had. So can you just go into that just a little bit about, just some of the opportunities that folks have for, being a part of that organization, or even just asking more questions about the organization?
Yeah, so we do provide a forum called Afraid No More, a safe space for men and women to heal. It's a free event. People come, they have lunch or dinner, whatever we provide. We have speakers that have been reformed citizens. We have speakers that are therapists, psychologists.
Yeah.
We have fitness, anything that you can think of. We have cancer survivors, childhood trauma survivors, and they come out and speak. But we also allow the audience to tell their stories. And it is a safe space for them to provide as much information as they want. We don't push them, but we also give them resources before they leave.
Mhm.
Also, if you go to our website, you can submit, there's a form that says, send us a message. And if you are a reformed citizen or just got out of jail, you're looking to become a reformed citizen, we can connect you with a mentor or other resources to help you be successful, because we don't want you to go back
Right.
to where you came from.
Right.
So we also provide, we had a young lady that had breast cancer. She lost her hair to chemo. So Raya's Raise the Light Foundation provided a human hair wig for her. We provide books to schools. We pay for school lunches for students that need to graduate. And, the schools are like, hey, you have these fees you need to pay. So we're doing a lot behind the scenes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But more importantly, we are connecting individuals with people that can help. We do offer additional services like free resume writing. to individuals who are looking to get back into the job force. We
That's
provide them information with school grants if they're looking to go back to school.
That's
And
great.
then one thing that I like to do is that we like to make sure we go out into the community and speak to neighborhoods that we come from to make sure that men and women, boys and girls know that there is hope and that they have a community of support. So I love the public speaking aspect of it. But if you go on our line, on our site and you fill out the form, you say, hey, I just lost my job. I don't have health insurance. Can you find me a free clinic? I can give you a list of free clinics around your area. If you're looking for a dental office that has free dental offers, I can provide that information for you. So we're just a vast array of information and resources for anyone in our community.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations on such a
Thank you.
wonderful
Thank
organization.
you.
Yeah, that's wow. I really hope people who hear this, start to realize that stuff like this is out there and people
Yeah.
are willing to help. And it's not too late. It's not over. It's not the end of the road just yet. People can, help get. It's just like on the same side, kind of like with social media. You see only on the flip side, right? So you see a lot of people always talk about the negative, right? They always,
Yes.
now, like you say, you got out of jail. There's no hope. You're going to wind up back because there's no job opportunities. There's no this, there's no that. There is. We just got to figure out the best way to transition.
Yes.
Right. And who's out there to help with the transition, so that's awesome. I love to hear that. I want to talk a little bit about your podcast as well. Do you have a podcast that is, around the organization as a whole, amongst other things? So talk about that for us.
So our podcast is called Ray of Hope. The Talk Show and Podcast is with myself and Leslie, who's also a nurse. And so what we do is we try to bring a mental health aspect to everyday life scenarios.
Sure.
We try to have a variety of guests that have life experiences that could help some of our listeners.
Sure.
So we've covered topics from high school pressure to divorced women who suffer from abuse, to men who were sexually abused, women who were sexually abused. We are covering all aspects of things that could happen to us in our community and the mental health part of it.
Sure.
But at the end, we like to provide a ray of hope. So that is the beginning of your story, but that is not the end. And so we like to tell people that your future is clear. Your past is blurry. The Bible says your sins of yesterday are forgiven. But we want to help people understand that those struggles that you had, they're not the end. It's just the beginning to set you up for your purpose.
Absolutely.
And so we try to talk about that in Ray of Hope. We want to keep people uplifted. We want to keep them inspired, encouraged, but we want to give them support and resources, let them know that there is a community of people out there that's willing to listen and that's willing to help.
Man, I while you're talking, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I wonder if, like, the name Raya, just how purposeful that was, because everything kind of ties into, the ray of light, the ray of hope, and it just all makes so much sense. Like, have you thought about that? Like, do you say?
Yes, it's crazy because my nickname was Ray of Sunshine.
Come on.
Because I smile all the time. Like, I was a happy kid. I was always a giver. I was always helping people. I was one of those kids that I always got like the most thoughtful award.
Yeah.
Like, I never got best dressed or anything like that. It was always the most thoughtful.
Yeah.
And so I said, my mom named me, my dad's name is Ray, but my mom named me Ray, and people call me Ray of Light. They call me Ray of Sunshine because I'm always happy. I'm always helping people. And so it was my dream to start a foundation called Raya's Rays of Light, or Raya's Rays of Sunshine. But Ray of Light kind of like stuck out because my last name is White. And people used to call me Ray of White Light. So, so it just kind of like stuck. But yeah, so, it is definitely purposeful. And I always say God is intentional. And whatever I can do to use my platform to make people feel good and to spread my light, that's what I want to do. So it kind of worked out.
Yeah, it definitely worked out. I was sitting there like, man, what? There's no way that could be on accident, but on the other hand, I mean, I think, that's just, hearing more about, about the organization, about the podcast, just about what you are offering to the community, is just really something special.
Thank
It's
you.
very selfless,
Thank
very
you.
selfless, and I'm really rooting for, the organization, and anything that you put your hands on. I think it's just going to, get that ray of light that it definitely needs. So let me ask this: what with all the things we've talked about thus far, and again, kind of going around, mental awareness and mental health and all of these things, what are some of the self care opportunities that people might be able to do as far as research or books, right? Or just things like, let's say they might not be ready to go and face people, up front, but they do want to get help, or they do want to find, a way to transition their life. Obviously, of course, praying and getting into some type of religious state, obviously, as well. But like, as far as, books or different things, what do you think would be some of the best methods for some folks to do in order to transition?
So the first thing that I tell people to do is to be honest with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing you have to do. It's just
That's
like
good.
with addiction. You have to be honest with yourself.
Sure.
You have to be willing and ready to make the change.
Sure.
Because a lot of times what happens is that when things happen to us, like trauma, being a victim gets us places.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets us the sympathy that a lot of people they're yearning for. So first we have to cut that cord. You're no longer a victim. Those
Yeah.
are things that happen to you, but now you're about to be victorious. So you need to cut that cord.
Yeah.
You have to be honest with yourself, and you have to tell someone what's going on with you. But before you do that, you have to pray for the right connections, because
Sure.
a lot of people are not in the business of helping people get further ahead than them.
Sure. Right.
People will want to see you succeed, but just not more than
Right.
them.
That's a real thing.
Pray for discernment that you are connected to the right people.
Yeah.
People that's not going to take advantage of your trauma.
Sure.
Okay. So then you want to pray. Then you have to change your diet. And a lot of people don't understand that your diet is connected to depression and anxiety. So if you are eating a lot of sugars and salt, soda, alcohol, if you're not getting vitamin D, vitamin E, those things can cause depression just by itself.
Yeah.
Even without the trauma. Make sure you're getting outside. Make sure you're getting some fresh air.
Yeah.
Don't seclude yourself and stay indoors. Get
Sure.
outside, get some fresh air, get some sunshine. Like you said earlier, those human connections.
Yeah.
Get around people.
Yeah.
People that make you feel good inside.
Sure.
And then another thing that I like to do is I like to journal.
Mm-hmm.
So journaling for me is a release, and then it's a reflection. So if I'm feeling a certain type of way, I pull out my journal, I write, and I release those emotions. And then I go back and reflect on my journal to see what I was feeling that day, see how I made it through, see what my triggers may have been,
Sure.
see how I coped for that day.
Right.
So I release in my journal, then I go back and I reflect. And I also have a journal on Amazon. It's $5.99. It's called Raya's Razor Light Foundation, The Ray of Hope and Journal of Thankfulness.
Perfect.
So with that journal, you're to open it up and just write one thing that you're thankful for and focus on that. Because a lot of times we get so caught up in the things that have made us mad or pissed us off for the day, or woe is me. So I want people to change the narrative of their mind. Open the journal, you write one thing that you're thankful for. With me, my first entry of that journal was, I'm thankful that I am alive.
Absolutely.
As a suicide attempt survivor.
Absolutely.
I'm thankful that I am alive to give back to people and to save someone else. The next thing is I'm thankful for my kids. I'm thankful for my health, thankful for my grandchildren, thankful for my sound mind, because it wasn't always like this. So, you just focus on the good.
Yeah.
But, just really be honest with yourself.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I appreciate the transparency. Thank you for that as well. So in my last question, I always give this question to every guest that I have, just because it's very diverse in the answer. but let me see. So I guess we'll go as far as the organization is concerned. Like, there's a lot of people who probably have your heart, have your spirit, and wanting to give back and wanting to provide guidance and different things for the community, but may not know how to start. Right.
Okay.
So what would you tell someone who is looking up at you, wanting to be in the shoes that you're in as far as the organization is concerned, wanting to have that and be able to say, hey, listen, I have this platform that is available, to the community, and be that ray of light. What would you tell someone for advice or for a good way to start their journey to get in an organization like yours, to build one?
Okay. Well, I would tell them to write everything down. First and foremost, bring it to fruition, write it down, pray about it, pray for direction. Do not rush the process. Everybody has a timing. Everything has a season. Be authentic. Be who you were called to be. Don't try to mimic someone else. So it's easy for me to, make Raya's Razor Light blossom because it's based off of me.
Sure.
I'm not trying to emulate anyone, and I'm going at God's pace and not Raya's pace.
Right.
So wherever he plants the seed for my name and my foundation to be, that's where I'm led. So I'm trying to not rush the process.
Sure.
I'm remaining humble before him, letting him know that it's all about him. It's not about me. It's about using the platform to bring people closer to him and to help people heal and to help people understand that they are not alone and that there is life after trauma. There's life after pain, and I'm a living example of that. Yeah. So if people are true to themselves, being authentic and walking in their purpose, it's easier for them to start the foundation that they want.
Yeah.
And to be successful doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, great advice. Great advice. Listen, I really appreciate your time. Really appreciate, all of the things, all of the nuggets that you were able to give to us. Let everyone know again, just how they can get in touch with the organization, how they can get in touch, with you, whether it be social media, any type of contacts that you want to give out. Please do.
Sure. Thank you. So you can find us on Facebook at Raya's Razor Light Foundation. Our Instagram is Raya's Razor Light _FDTN. You can email us at connect@rayasrazorlight.info. And our website is www.rayasrazorlight.com.
Hey, and how can they get podcasts?
And then if you want to tune into the podcast, it's 1580thepraise.com. It's every Saturday. It's live at 1 p.m.
Hey, and there we have it. There we have it. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this platform and for your time. And I'm proud of you also. And kudos to everything that you have going on.
Thank you. Really, really appreciate that. We're pushing through. We definitely pushing through. So guys, listen, make sure you are liking and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Always Working Radio. That's always with 2 L's. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Always Working Radio. Same thing with Facebook. Instagram, Always Working _radio. Website is coming back real soon. We are making it even more super dope for you guys. So appreciate your patience, but you can still hear Always Working Radio on TuneIn. Just go on to TuneIn and click it, and you right there in the spot listening to all the great music we have provided for y'all. And then of course you can follow me at DJ_Swamp Thing. That's DJ_SWMP. THING. Dr. Raya White, we appreciate you yet again. And yeah, man, this has been a great, and again, like I said, I really hope that whoever sees this, that's the great thing about YouTube, it's not going to ever go away. So I just, whether it be next week or 2 months from now or a year from now, somebody who may be indecisive about where they can go next, as it pertains to their mental health or just anything, can look at this and remember that there are people like you out there wanting to lend a hand and help. So
thank you so much.
Absolutely. And that does it for What's Your Hustle. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Have a good day.
Clocking overtime, always on our grind.